President Trump back in Washington after striking a deal with North Korea, and with a wave telling reporters it was a great trip. Moments later, back on his phone, now gearing up for the critical sales pitch on Air Force One, shoring up support among Asian allies, speaking with the leaders of South Korea and Japan, and tweeting this morning after his long trip, "Everybody can now feel much safer than the day I took office. There is no longer a nuclear threat from North Korea." On Fox News overnight, Mr. Trump giving new details about his meeting with the North Korean leader.
This country has to be denuked, and he understood that. He fully understood it.
And the strategy that he says helped bring Kim Jong-un to the negotiating table, a mix of sanctions and tough verbal insults.
Little rocket man.
So I think the rhetoric, I hated to do it. Sometimes I felt foolish doing it. But we had no choice.
So strategically you were doing it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he gained respect.
The president also sending out his top lieutenants, the Secretary of State in South Korea energizing allies, while Vice President Pence tried to rally skeptical lawmakers.
Kim Jong-un returned to Pyongyang while differences emerged between U.S. and North Korean accounts of the summit. North Korean state media calls the summit an epoch-making meeting and says the stability of the Korean peninsula is thanks to the proactive, peace-loving measures taken by Kim. Ben Tracy is monitoring the North Korean reaction from Singapore. Ben, good morning.
Good morning. So that is charitably what you would call spin from the North Koreans. They are using this summit now to try to position Kim Jong-un as an equal to President Trump. But there are differences between the North Koreans and President Trump's version of what happened at their meeting. These pictures on the front page of the North Korean newspaper today are exactly what the regime wanted its people to see. Kim Jong-un looks like a respected world leader, not a brutal dictator from a poor and isolated country. In Pyongyang, the summit is being described as historic and a new era in U.S.-North Korean relations. The North Koreans claim it was Kim Jong-un who demanded that the U.S. halt what the regime calls irritating and hostile military exercises on the Korean peninsula, a major concession by President Trump.
We will be stopping the war games, which will save us a tremendous amount of money.
The joint U.S.-South Korean exercises have taken place for decades. They are designed to keep the more than 28,000 American troops stationed there prepared for combat. We were on board the USS Ronald Reagan last November during a large naval exercise off the Korean peninsula.
If there was a conflict with North Korea, they can launch a fighter jet off this carrier once every 20 seconds. But of course, they then have to get all those fighter jets back on board. And this is how they do it.
President Trump called these provocative war games, the very same language the North Koreans use in their anti-U.S. propaganda.
It's a very provocative situation. So under the circumstances that we're negotiating a very comprehensive, complete deal, I think it's inappropriate to be having war games.
Before the summit, President Trump said he would not give the North Koreans anything until they completely denuclearize. But the North Koreans are now saying that they actually agreed to a step-by-step process.
North Korea, of course, still has its nuclear weapons, and the agreement so far doesn't outline specifics like how many of those weapons it actually has. It could take years for North Korea to get rid of its entire arsenal. And that's all if the country complies with the accord. North Korea, of course, has a very long history of cheating on deals in the past.
And as for the departures, North Korea's Kim Jong-un left Singapore at around 11:20 p.m.
Subscribe to Right Wing to stay updated.